She did not become known for her harvest. She became known for what she gave when she had almost nothing. In a quiet mountain village, where mist touched rooftops every morning, lived a woman named Jiny. She was 36 years old, a farmer, not by choice, but by life. Her village rested between soft hills and narrow paths, far from busy roads and louder dreams. People there did not speak much about the future. They spoke about weather, about soil, about survival. Every morning before the sun rose, Jiny woke up. She tied her hair into a loose knot, wore faded clothes, and stepped outside her small wooden home. The air was cold, sharp enough to wake tired thoughts. She breathed deeply, as if asking the mountains for strength. Her life was not easy, but it was honest. Jiny lived alone. Her parents had passed away years ago. Her husband had left for the city, promising to return. He never did. At first, letters came, then silence. The village stopped asking questions. Jiny stopped waiting. She worked the land with her own hands. The soil was stubborn, the yield uncertain. Some seasons were kind, others were cruel. She learned to stretch what little she had. One bowl of rice became 2 meals. One loaf of bread became a day of patience. She never complained. But loneliness has a sound. It echoes in quiet kitchens, in empty evenings, in the pause before sleep. That winter was the hardest the village had seen in years. Snow fell early, crops failed, food became scarce. Even strong families began counting grains instead of meals. The village store ran empty. The road to town was blocked by ice. Hunger moved quietly from house to house. Jiny felt it too. One evening she sat at her wooden table. In front of her lay a single piece of bread. It was all she had left. She had baked it days ago, saving it carefully, cutting it slowly, making it last. That night the bread remained untouched. Her stomach hurt, but her heart hurt more. She wrapped the bread in cloth and placed it beside her bed, as if it were fragile. She lay down, staring at the ceiling, listening to the wind press against the walls. Then she heard a knock, soft, hesitant. She sat up. No one knocked so late in winter. Jiny opened the door slowly. Outside stood a young boy, no older than 10. Behind him, his younger sister held his sleeve tightly. Their clothes were thin, their faces pale. They did not speak. They did not need to. Jiny understood. She looked at the children, then at the bread behind her. For a moment, time stood still. She thought of the night ahead, of the empty morning, of the cold that forgives nothing. Her hands trembled, but her heart was steady. Jiny went inside. She unwrapped the cloth. She broke the bread, not in half, but into pieces. She placed the bread into the boy's hands. Then she knelt and gave a piece to the girl. "Go," she said softly. "Eat slowly." The boy looked at her. "What about you?" he asked. Jiny smiled. "I will be fine." It was not a brave smile. It was a true one. The children bowed clumsily and ran into the snow, holding the bread like something sacred. Jiny closed the door. The room felt larger, colder. She sat down. Hunger rose. Fear whispered. But something else stayed. Peace. Not happiness, not relief. Peace. That night, Jiny did not sleep, but peace stayed with her. The next morning, the village woke to quiet movement. The children's family survived the night. No one knew who had shared food. No one asked. Days passed. Food remained scarce. Jiny grew thinner. Her steps slowed, but she never regretted her choice. One afternoon, a small sack of rice appeared outside her door. No note, no name. The next day, vegetables. Another day, eggs. The village had noticed, not the act, but the spirit. Jiny understood something new. Kindness does not disappear. It moves quietly from one hand to another. Weeks later, the road cleared. Supplies returned. Winter loosened its grip. Life resumed. But the village had changed. People shared more, spoke softer, watched each other closely. One evening, as Jiny baked bread again, she paused. She held the loaf in her hands, remembering that night. She smiled. She had shared her last bread, and yet she had never been empty. True wealth is not what you keep. It is what you give when you have almost nothing. If this story touched you quietly, comment kindness below. Like and share it with someone who still believes in humanity. And subscribe to Eliza Bethell Tales for stories that feel human long after they end.